Good morning everyone. In today's session we are going to see how to represent the different kinds of numbers on the number line. So already in the last session we have learned about the decimal expansions for rational as well as the irrational numbers. Now in this session we are going to see how to locate the same on the number line. We have seen that the decimal expansion for any rational number which can be expressed as p by q, where p and q are integers, will be either terminating or non-terminating repeating, and the decimal expansion for irrational numbers is going to be always non-terminating and non-repeating. Now we shall see how to represent both kinds of numbers, that is rational as well as the irrational numbers on the number line. So let us start. Already in our 8th class we have learned how to represent the rational form on the number line. For example, suppose if we need to represent 1 by 8 on the number line. So we have seen this in our 8th class. So what I will do, just I will take you through these examples also, then we shall slowly move towards how to represent the decimal expansions on the number line. So let us take some examples and we shall revise the things we have learned in the 8th class. Suppose if we need to represent 1 by 3 on the number line. So whenever you are given a number which is in the rational form, first observe whether it is a proper fraction or an improper fraction. So proper fraction means our numerator will be less than that of denominator. So clearly here 1 is less than 3, so that is why it is a proper fraction. So all proper fractions will lie between 0 and 1. So why? Because suppose even if you perform actual division, 1 by 3 will be equal to, suppose if you see this, it will be 0.33 and all. So definitely it will lie somewhere between 0 and 1. So what we will do, just we will consider the number line. So it will be over 0 and it will be over 1. So it will be between 0 and 1. So here take the denominator now. So denominator is 3. So we need to make the region between 0 and 1 into 3 parts. So for that I will use 2 divisions. So here suppose if I place these 2 divisions at equidistance, so 1, 2, 3 parts are there. Now out of that we need only 1 part. So here from 0 we will be taking first part here. So this will be our 1 by 3. So remember, whenever we are given with the rational form, this is the way we have to proceed. First we need to see whether the given rational form is proper or improper. So if it is proper, always it will lie between 0 and 1. Okay. Suppose if there is a negative sign in front of this proper one, as in this case, see this one, this is minus 2 by 5. So in this case also we will do the same manner, but this minus sign will say that we have to proceed in the reverse direction as we did in the earlier case. So we have to move left direction in this particular case. So the same thing we will do. So it is also proper. So now it will lie between 0 and minus 1, not 1. Why? Because this is a negative number, so it will be lying between 0 and minus 1. So in this region we need 5 divisions. So that's why because here the denominator is 5. So I will be making this region between 0 and minus 1 into 5 parts using 4 exact equal spaced lines. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. So overall this region is divided into 5 parts. After that only I need 2. So this minus sign will tell us to proceed in this left direction. That's it. So here I need only 2. So this is starting from 0, 1, 2. So this is going to be your minus 2 by 5. So this is how we can locate a negative proper fraction or a positive proper fraction on the number line. Now we shall see what if the rational form given to us is in improper form. Improper means what? Our numerator will be greater than that of denominator here. So as in this case 5 by 4, 5 is our numerator, which is surely greater than this particular 4. So it is in improper form. So for these numbers what we will do, just we will be converting into mixed form. So we know how to convert this into mixed form. What we will do, just we will divide the numerator 5 with 4. So how many times it will go? Exactly 4 ones are 4. Our remainder is what? 1. So here first see carefully, you will write the quotient here. So this is 1, our remainder will be here, and our divisor, which is 4, it will be like this. So this is same as 1 by 4. Okay, it will be 1 by 4. So we wrote it in the mixed form. So can I write the same as 1? So this is same as 1 plus 1 by 4. Why? Because already 1 is there, so extra we have 1/4. So that is how we need to proceed in case our number is in the whatever improper form. Now let us take the number line now. So as we have seen that every part here is going to be positive, so we have to move towards our right direction. So this is 0 here, and this is 1, so this will be our 2, and so on. So numbers will be like this on the number line. Now if you observe carefully, so already we have 1 here, so that's why just from 0 to 1 just come here and stop there. Now in the next part we don't want this entire region, we want only 1/4 of this region. So after coming to this one, what we will do, we'll take the next region and we will divide it according to the denominator in the fractional part. So what is our denominator here in the fractional part? It is 4. So we need to make this into 4 parts, equal parts. So here 4, for that we will be using 3 equally spaced lines in between. So here 1, 2, 3. So overall how many regions? It is divided into 1, 2, 3 and 4. So out of that how many we need? We need only 1. So that's why already we have here. So we will take one more part here. So this will be our requisite 5 by 4. So this is how we represent a fraction or a rational number which is in the form of p by q, and moreover it is in the improper form. Improper means our numerator will be greater than that of denominator. Now what if the same thing will be having a negative sign in front of it? So the same way what we have done in the earlier part, we will take the same in the left direction. So how exactly we will do here? So forget this negative sign for a while. So just you write like this and divide this 7 with 2. So 7 when divided with 2, just see this. So 2 3s are, it will be 6 and our remainder will be 1. So as I said, so here first our quotient will come 3 and then the remainder, and here our divisor which is 2. So this is minus of 3 1 by 2. So this is minus of, so forget this minus, 3 1 by 2 is same as 3 plus 1 by 2. So overall this is, so it will be 3 plus 1 by 2. So overall this minus sign will tell you only one thing, that we have to forward in the reverse direction, that is our left direction. So we shall see how we represent this number on the number line. So this is 2. So we will take the number line like this. So 0, and so as the negative sign is there for the number, we need to proceed in the leftward direction. So it will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 4. So proceed leftward direction. How many units first? 3 units. That means from here 1, 2, 3. Stop there. So extra what we have? We have half in the reverse direction only here also. Suppose if you want to expand it, we can expand it, no problem. It will be minus 3 minus half, then it will be easier. So otherwise just keep it like that. So we are already here at minus 3 and we want extra half. So in between these minus 3 and minus 4, okay, we need only half. So how many parts we need to make it into? So our denominator is 2 here extra, so we will make into 2 parts using how many equally spaced lines? If you place one line exactly in the middle, it will be in the 2 regions will be divided. So that's why we want only one part. So we are already here, we take one more part here. So out of these 2, it will be exactly, you will be getting minus 7 by 2. So this is how we have learned in our 8th class how to represent p by q forms on the number line. Now in this session what we are going to see, our decimal expansions will be given. Why? Because for any rational number or irrational number, we can just take it into the decimal expansion form. So depending upon that, we can locate them on the number line. So let us actually see how to represent the decimal expansion forms on the number line now. Before that, let us have a look at our number line, how it will look like. So in the center, just see, we will be starting with 0, and if we move towards our right, so here it will be 1, 2, 3 like this, and if you move towards this direction, it will be -1, -2, -3 and all. Now remember, when you move towards your right, the value keeps on increasing, and when you move towards your left, the value keeps on decreasing. So here, for example, if you take -2, it will be less than that of -1, but whereas here 1 will be less than 2. So in the forward direction, the values keeps on increasing, whereas in the reverse direction, the values keeps on decreasing. And remember one thing, between any two numbers, what you are just seeing on the number line, there will be infinitely many numbers in between. For example, if you say see the numbers between 1 and 2, there will be 1.1. So for sure there will be 1.1. We can also say 1.11 is also there, and also 1.111 will also be there. Why? Because it is 1 point something. That means it has crossed 1, but it has not crossed 2. So that's why it will be somewhere between 1 and 2 only. So like that, if you take any number like 1.9999, so you take any decimal digits after this particular decimal point, you will be getting that number between this 1 and 2 only. So likewise, you take any two numbers on the number line, you will be finding infinitely many numbers between those two numbers. Let me take an example. Suppose if we want to locate the exact position of 3.5 on the number line. So our number is 3.5. So observe the integer part here. So it is 3.5. That means it is 3 plus something. So it has crossed 3, but tell me, has it crossed 4? No. So that is why this number will somewhere lie between our 3 and 4. Why 3? So here it has crossed 3, it is 3 point something, and it has not yet crossed 4. So our number will be in between these two. Suppose if I magnify this region, suppose if I have a close look at this region, so for example, you can consider your scale as the divisions, just we can magnify it. Suppose here this particular region, now what I will zoom it, the region between 3 and I will take the 4 at the other end. So there will be 3.1 in between. So if I divide it like this, it will be 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. So likewise, so at the end you will be having 3.9 and 4. So here somewhere in the middle exactly you will be finding our 3.5. So what we are actually doing, we are magnifying the region between these two numbers and we are getting our requisite number. So this method we call it as repeated magnification method, whereas so here whatever is there, the number, first we will see between which two integers it is going to lie. So here my number is going to lie between 3 and 4. So I will zoom the region between 3 and 4, for sure 3.1, 3.2. So like that I will be making 10 equi-spaced divisions here. So exactly I will be finding my number 3.5 to be here. So let us take one more example. That example is 2.65. This 2.65, always first look at the integer here. It is 2 point something. So for sure it is going to lie between 2 and 3. Why? Because it has crossed 2 and it has not yet crossed 3. So my number will be somewhere in this region. Now what I have to do? I have to zoom in this particular region. So I have to take this part 2 at one end and 3 at the other end. So as we have done in the earlier case, we will divide it into 10 regions. Now it will be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. So likewise 2.9 and 3. At the last you will be having your 3. So now see, when you just divide this region, make sure that these are equally spaced. Don't do it randomly, just it has to be equally spaced. Now we have 2.6 as well as 2.7. Now have a look at our number now. It is 2.6 and it has crossed the 2.6 also. But has it crossed the 2.6 here, 2.7? No, it is 2.65. So 2.61, 2.62, 2.63, 2.64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, and we will be having about 2.7. That means my number, which is about 2.65, will lie between these two numbers. Now what I will do, I have to take one more step for magnification. Let us magnify this particular region. So you take 2.6 at one end and 2.7 at the far end. So in between, just when you zoom it, so when you see closely between these two numbers, you will be finding 2.61, 2.62, 2.63, 2.62. So likewise somewhere, so here exactly in the middle you will be finding 2.65. this is our required number. So here you will be having 2.69 and our last number is 2.7. So likewise, so depending upon the decimal digits, so the digits after the decimal point, we have to magnify those many times to get our required number. So in this case we have our answer at the single step, so by single step, but here we have to zoom in two times. Why? Because there are two decimal points. So first we will just zoom it, you will be getting the numbers 2.6 and 2.7. again we will take the region between 2.6 and 2.7. again we will zoom the region, and there you will be finding our required number 2.65. Suppose we need to represent this particular number 3.765 on the number line. So here observe, there are three decimal places. So here after the decimal point there are three digits. So see here it is 3.765. so definitely it will be between 3 and 4. So 3 and 4. So when you zoom in this region, when you magnify this particular 3 and 4, so you will be having 3 at one end, 4 at one end. So we can place 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4 likewise. So just when you equally divide it, you will be having the numbers like this. Our number is 3.76. that means it has crossed 3.7. so that means it has crossed 3.7, but it has not yet crossed 3.8. so that's why our number will be between this region. So we will magnify it actually. So when we magnify it, so we have to take it, this as 3.7, this as 3.8. so for sure we can write it as 3.70 also, it has 3.80 also for convenience. So here again there will be 10. So when we divide it, actually we can divide it into 10 equally spaced lines like 3.71, 3.72 and all. So our number is 3.765. So take a look at this particular 3.76, 3.77. Why? Because our number is 3.76 and something. So it will be for sure lying between 3.76 and 3.77. so actually zoom in this region, what you will get, so we can again have this particular 3.76 at one end and 3.770 on other end, and we can divide accordingly into again 10 equal divisions. Now we will be finding 3.761, 762, 763, 764, and we want 3.765. so this is our required number. So this is how, using this method of repeated magnification, just we can locate the given decimal expansion on the number line. So what if it is non-terminating repeating? Suppose let me take an example for 2.3 bar. Okay, anyhow this number what I have considered is terminating in nature, and I can find exactly this position. What if I want this particular number on the number line? So in this case, if we want the decimal form, just what we can do, just suppose see this one, depending upon the decimal places asked, suppose the same can be written as 3.333 and all. So just this is how you will be writing your number. Suppose if the question is asking about represent this 2.3 bar up to 4 decimal places, that means after the decimal points we need to consider only 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we can locate this number on the number line using this magnification method 4 times. Why? Because in the first stage you will be getting 2.3, again 2.33, again 2.333. so likewise at the end you will be getting. So depending upon the decimal places that have been asked after this decimal point, we have to locate the numbers on the number line. So we shall see one more example, whereas in that case you will be having non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. See this example. This is 4.26262626 like this. It is not 26. We have to read the digits individually after the decimal point. So that is why it is 4.262626 and all. So I can write it as 4.26 bar. Why? Because there are two digits after the decimal point which are repeating. So can place this particular bar on the two digits after this decimal point. So I have to represent it. So when it is non-terminating repeating, it won't be having any end. Suppose if we keep on doing this method, just we have to go through millions of places. Why? Because it will keep on going like that. So here when we are given with such decimal expansions, we will be having clearly mentioned about the decimal places what we have to consider. Here the question is about only 4 decimal points on the number line. So that is why, so we will be considering, there will be many places, we will consider only 4 places after the decimal point. So it will be 4.26 and 26. Now just count the digits after the decimal point. So our decimal point is here, and 1 2 3 4. So this is exactly what we have to locate on the number line. So we will take it as our number and we shall proceed for actual representation of the number. So it is 4 point something. So actually it will lie between 4 and 5. So take 4 at the end and 5 at one end. Our number is 4.2. Now first have a look at this part only. 4.26. That means it has crossed 4.2, but it has not yet crossed 4.3. So we will take 4.2 at one end and 4.3 at the other end, and we will magnify it. So it is 4.20. We can write it as 4.21, 4.22, 4.33 and all. Just we will place the equally placed divisions in between. Now have a look at the other end. It is 4.262. That means it has crossed 4.26 also. So we will take 4.26 and it has not crossed 4.27. So that is why we will take these two into the consideration, and we will take it at one end, and at the other end we will be taking our 4.27. Again magnify it. It will pour 4.260. If you want to keep a 0 here, no problem, just keep a 0 here. It will be 4.261, 4.262, 263, 264. Likewise you will be having 4.269 and 4.270. Our number has crossed this 4.262 also. So that is why take this 262. It has not crossed 463. So that is why just you take this into consideration. Again you magnify it into 10 divisions, then you will be getting our actual number, where see this one, it is 2626. It is somewhere here exactly. It is 4.2626. Now in this manner we can locate any number on the number line using this particular magnification method. So here what we are doing, we are repeatedly magnifying the given space between two numbers and we are arriving at our requisite number. So this is what we call it as repeated magnification method for representing any decimal expansion on the number line. It depends upon the decimal places. So sometimes it may be cumbersome. Why? Because if there are 10 places that there after this particular decimal point, we have to do it 10 times to actually arrive at this particular number. First, so just we can locate the number depending upon the decimal points. That means the decimal digits after the decimal points on the number line. Now let us think, is there any other way of representing this decimal expansions on the number line if it is a rational number? So let us think. Suppose our number is 0.3 bar. That means it will be 0.333 and all. So there won't be any end. So it will keep on going like this. So in the last session, if you just remember, we have seen how to convert these forms into rational forms. For example, this very particular 0.333 can be written as 1 by 3. So this is the rational form. This is exactly what we have learned in our class 8th, how to represent this 1 by 3 on the number line. So take this 0 and 1. So make these 3 regions and out of that only take 1. So this is what we will be getting 1 by 3. There will be many methods. Suppose if we want to correlate, we can correlate this particular thing with our 8th class the decimal representation also. So in this case what I have done, we can also just take it into the rational form and we can represent it. But here we have seen one more method, what we call it as repeated magnification method. Just we can represent any number depending upon the number of decimal digits, that means the number of digits after the decimal point. So for sure, suppose our number is, let us say 2.0.26, okay, 26 bar. If this is the number I have to represent on the number line. So actually what we will do in the repeated magnification method, so it is 26 bar, so they will be asking 4 digit, 5 digit like this if we want to use our magnification method. But suppose, see here, suppose if it is like this, can we write it as 26 by 99? So this is how I am writing from the previous class. Suppose if you remember, I told you how to exactly directly convert these forms into this particular rational form. That means it will be 26 by 99. That means, is it a proper or improper fraction? It is going to be a proper fraction, and it will be lying between, for sure, 0 and 1. 0 and 1. So in this region, how many regions we have to make it into? 99 regions. Out of that, we have to take 26 regions. So suppose we want to connect the things, we can connect in this manner. But when they give you such numbers, they will ask you for the repeated magnification method. If the same is for repeated magnification method, it has crossed 0, but it has not crossed 1. So we have to take 0 and 1 at both ends. We have to magnify the things like that. We can just represent using the repeated magnification method. So in the 9th class, just we will do the things using repeated magnification method. But here I am just telling you how we can connect the things that to what we have just learned in the earlier classes. So this is exactly what we have learned in our 8th class. Even it seems to be cumbersome. It is not easy that you make a small region between 0 and 1 into 99 regions, and we can represent. So but we can relate the things. So here we can use repeated magnification method to represent the same on the number line. Now let us see how to represent an irrational number on the number line. And also we have seen that for an irrational number, suppose if you take any irrational number, the decimal expansion is going to be neither terminating nor repeating. It won't terminate, it won't repeat. But in case of rational numbers, it will repeat or it will terminate, and it can be written as in the form of p by q. But there is no provision for writing this particular irrational number in the form of p by q such that p and q are integers. Suppose if we say root 2, we are saying it as irrational number, and some of you just might think, why can't we place 1, why can't we call it as p by q form? I am just emphasizing that our p and q should be integers, but here root 2 is not an integer. So remember the fact, don't get confused. So here let us see a method how to locate, how to represent these irrational numbers on the number line. We very well know the Pythagoras theorem. What does it state? So you take any right angle triangle. So let me take any right angle triangle like this. So let us call it as A, and it is a right angle at B, BC. If you take any right angle triangle, what will happen? Square of hypotenuse will be equal to sum of squares of the other two sides. So in this case, can I write it as AC square, which is our hypotenuse square? Hypotenuse means the side which is opposite to the right angle. So here the right angle is at B, and B opposite is AC. So it is AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square. This is what our Pythagoras theorem states. Sum of squares of the two sides will be equal to the square of hypotenuse. So this is what the statement of Pythagoras theorem. So using the same, we will see how to represent our irrational numbers on the number line. So let us see the things with an example. Suppose we need to locate root 2 on the number line. Okay, our number is what? Root 2. So root 2 is our number. We need to locate this particular root 2 on the number line. So we use the construction method or the geometric method to locate these irrational numbers on the number line. So we have seen that in case of right angle triangle, sum of squares of two sides will be equal to square of hypotenuse. So that is what we have seen. Suppose let us assume this, see this part. So OA, let us say this is 1. Okay, now just let us assume this as 90 degrees, and we drop a perpendicular of 1 unit length. This is 1, this is 1. Now we shall come to OB. So can we write it as OB square, which is our hypotenuse square, is equal to side square plus side square. OB square is equal to OA square plus BA square. OA is what? 1 square plus 1 square. Okay, so now OB square is equal to 1 square plus 1 square is how much? OB square is equal to 1 square plus 1 square, which is 2. Okay. If OB square is 2, OB will be equal to root 2. If square of some number, so we shall deal with this part in the upcoming lessons, how it is root 2 and all. But now see, square of OB will be 2. So when OB is equal to root 2, so it will be square root of 2. For example, suppose see, you say 3 square is equal to 9. What is square root of 9? 3. So likewise, here OB square is equal to 2. Then what is square root of 2? That will be equal to OB only. So OB will be equal to root 2. That means this hypotenuse will give you root 2 units. Suppose if I assume this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, this hypotenuse is exactly giving me the root 2 units. So the same thing we use on the number line. So consider our number line here. So this is 0, 1, 2, these are equally spaced now. Now let us assume this is 0 and this is 1. So this is 1 unit exactly, and using our protractor, just we will take 1 unit right angles here. So if this is 1 unit, the same distance we have to take it like this, and remember this has to be equally spaced. So if it is 1 unit, this also will be 1 unit. Now join OB, join OB. Now exactly this is what we have seen. If this is 1, this is 1 in this just triangle, just see here, what is OB here? It will be root 2. So here also OB will be equal to root 2. Now this is the length of root 2. Now just what we will do, we will take our compass and we will keep the tip of the compass at this 0 and our pencil tip at this B. So that means we will arrange our compass to the length of OB. So this O is our 0 here. We will assume this to be starting at 0. So this will be root 2 units. Now just we will move our pencil towards the number line and arc. So now if this is root 2, see, when you draw the circle, the radius will be same. If this is root 2 and we are just drawing an arc of radius root 2, so this length from O to P, exactly this is 0 to P, will also be root 2. That means this is exactly where you are getting our root 2 on the number line. Observe carefully once again, we have placed our tip at our 0, that is our O, and our pencil tip at B. So this length is adjusted to root 2 units. Now what we will do, we will just fix the tip at the 0 itself and we will move this particular tip of the pencil towards the number line like an arc. And when you draw a circle, the radius remains same. If this OB is equal to root 2, this OP is also equal to root 2. Why? Because you are drawing a circle like this, an arc. So if this is OB is the radius, this OP is also radius of root 2 units. That means exactly this root 2 will be lying at this point P. So this is where exactly you will be getting our root 2 on the number line. So this is 0, this A point is 1. So if you assume this entire thing as our number line, this root 2 is going to be lying at exactly P. So this is how we use the geometric method to represent the irrational numbers on the number line. For the same, just we have seen example with root 2. So this is how you locate root 2 on the number line. Remember, when you do so, actually it is the geometric part. We have to write the steps for the same. Whatever you are doing, we have to write the steps for locating this particular root 2 on the number line. So we shall make it clear with one more example. Suppose see, we want to locate root 3 on the number line. So here we want root 3. How actually we can proceed? See here, we shall take the number line here. Okay, just we have to use the Pythagoras theorem only here. So here in the last example where we have located root 2, so just we have to look for the combination. How will you get this particular root 3? Okay, now see here, suppose if you take this as OA, this is 1. So you take 1, you drop a perpendicular of 1. We can actually know this as root 2 in the previous example. Now see, this OB is actually root 2. This OB is already root 2. Now see here, what is root 2 square? Root 2 square plus 1 square. Root 2 square plus 1 square. Root 2 square is what? Root 2 into root 2, which is 2, plus 1. 2 plus 1 is how much? It will be 3. So square of some number is 3. That means the number will be root 3 only. That means after getting this root 2, okay, now you will take this B as our reference and we will drop one more unit perpendicular to it. Now we shall make it into one more right angle triangle. So see here, this is root 2 units already. Using our protractor, just we will keep 90 degrees and we will take one more unit like this. Now this is 1 and this is root 2. We will join OD. Now this is 1 and this is root 2. So see here, triangle OBD. Is it a right angle triangle? Yes, it is a right angle triangle. Can we use our Pythagoras theorem? Yes. OD square, that is hypotenuse square, is equal to side square plus side square. So one of the sides is OB, the other side is BD. So that is why here BD square, so OB square plus BD square is equal to OD square. Now OB is root 2 from our previous discussion. Already we have seen how it is root 2 only. So this is root 2 square plus 1 square. So root 2 square is what? 2. It is 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So OD square is 3, not OD. So OD square is 3. That means OD will be equal to 3 only, root 3 only. Why? Because OD square means what? Root 3 into root 3. It will be 3. So that is why OD will become root 3. Now see here, OD will be root 3 units. Now just as you have done in the earlier example, the same thing you will do here. Just place your tip of the compass at this point and tip of the pencil at this point. Just draw an arc OD. So here OD as the radius, just draw an arc towards the number line. It will, let us say, intersect the number line at Q. This will be the exact location of our root 3. Remember, take these all numbers equally spaced. Either you take 1 unit, 2 unit, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, but everything has to be equally placed. Okay, suppose if you take 1 centimeter distance between any two numbers, it is fine. If you can take 2, it is also fine, but make sure that when you take the distance from -3 to -3 as 1, it has to also be 1 centimeter like that. So then only you will be getting our number line in the uniform manner. So this is how we can locate exactly root 3 on the number line. So remember, for locating the irrational numbers which are root 3, root 5, root 7 and all, just we need to look for the combination of the numbers. So here, after getting root 2, so we know how to just locate root 2 here. For that, just we have added one, root 3 we got, root 3 we got. Suppose if you want root 10, what we will do? Root 10 what we will do? Suppose see, how will you get exactly, suppose if you want root 10 on number line, okay? How will you just think over it and see how to locate this particular root 10? We have to look for the combination of two numbers that will give you this particular root 10 as a result. Just look for. So here if you take root 2 and 1, we are getting root 3. To get the same as root 10, what numbers you will take into consideration, just try it out. So we shall take one more example in this same part. Suppose we need to locate root 13 on the number line. So always, as I told you, look for the combination of numbers which will give you this particular root 13. Now if you see this 3 square is how much? 9. Okay, square. Okay, we have to take for the possible combination of squares. 2 square is 4. What is 2 square plus 3 square? 13. So but these is squares, right? So here OB square is equal to BA square plus OC square. Why? Because here we will assume the right angle here. That means on the number line what you will do, just you will take 0, 1, 2 and this is our 3. Okay, equally spaced. So after 3 what you will do, just 3. So 2 units perpendicularly we have to take like this. So this will be perpendicularly and we have to join like this. So if this is 2 units and this is of length 3 units, so always start from 0, don't start from 1. Okay, why? Because 1, 2, 3 units completely, and this is 2 units. 3 square plus 2 square, which is 9 plus 4 will be equal to, let us say this is some y. Okay, this is O. Y square is equal to, let us say this is B. OB square plus BY square. Okay, so this is OY square actually. OY square, okay, is 13. So if OY square is 13, OY will be equal to root 13. Okay, if OY square is 13, that means on squaring OY you will get 13. So are you getting 13 on squaring this root 13 or not? Root 13 into root 13 will be 13. So that's why OY value will be equal to root 13. So this value will be root 13. So we should not leave at this step. Just we have to take this OY as the radius, and we have to just move towards the number line an arc, and the distance from this point to the point where it cuts this particular number line will exactly give you the OC length, which is nothing but here root 13 on the number line. So here the thing is very simple. So we can locate any irrational number using the combination of two numbers which will give you the request number. Suppose if you want root 5, so let me take an example. Okay, what it will give? Suppose if I take 2 square plus 1 square, so just take this number 5. Okay, can I write this as 5 as 2 square 1 square? 2 square plus 1 square. That means on the number line what I will do, just I will take 2 units here. This is 2 units length and this is 1 unit length. This is exactly what will give me root 5. Why? Because this 5 I am writing it as squares of sum of squares of two numbers. If this 5 is written as sum of squares of two numbers, root 5 will be equal to this much. So this will be root 5. So this is going to be root 5. Why? Because if I assume this as right angle, this square plus this square is equal to square of this one. So root 5 square is what? This is 5. So can I write this as root 5 as 5 as root 5 square? So likewise we have to look for the possible combination. So likewise just practice more examples like root 7, root 13 and all. We need not to take them as separate. Just we will take an example where we can find actually all the irrational numbers in a spiral method. So we shall take that example when we come to the exercise questions. So in the previous examples we have seen the numbers like root 3, root 5, root 7, root 13 and all. Suppose what if the numbers are like this? Suppose if the number is root of 3.3. Tell me, isn't it difficult to find always the combination of numbers and locate it in the manner that we did in the previous examples? So that's why here is the general method where we can exactly locate any irrational number on the number line. Any irrational number, we can use this particular method to just locate it on the number line. So let us take an example. So suppose we want to locate square root of 3.5, exactly what I have mentioned in the this particular example. Let me take it and we shall apply the same for the previous examples. What we have done, we have explained. So what we have discussed in the earlier examples also, we shall make use of this particular method, how to locate it actually on the number line. Suppose I need to locate square root of 3.5 on the number line. So observe carefully, always we have to write the steps. Whatever we are doing, just we have to put it in the sentence form, remember. So first step, what we have to do, just consider the number on the square root. What is our number here? 3.5. So just you draw 3.5 centimeter, that means 3.5 units line. So let us say here I have drawn AB. Okay, now just take 1 unit extension for this particular length what we have measured here. So this 3.5 is our number and we have extended it into extra 1 unit here. So 3.5 plus 1 always you have to take. Now this total length is 4.5. So our total length will become 4.5. Now exactly we have to take half of it. Half of it is how much? 2.25. But we won't actually find it on the scale. So what we will do, so this entire length AC, okay, already we know how to make the perpendicular bisection. So using the compass, you take the line, so take more than half, draw an arc like this on both sides. From this one, just you will intersect it like, and you will find the exact midpoint here. So likewise, just find the midpoint of this particular AC. You will find it to be O. Now take O as the center and OA as the radius. So remember, don't bisect this 3.5. We have to bisect this 4.5. After adding this one, you'll get 4.5, and we have to bisect it, and you'll be getting 4.5 half here, exactly here at O at the center. Just complete this circle, complete this semicircle like this. So just you'll have the semicircle. Now from this point B, just drop a perpendicular like this. Drop a perpendicular like this. It will meet this particular D at this semicircle. Now this length, this BD length is what will give you root 3 under root of 3.5, which is asked in the question. just see again. So this from point B, just extend the line to this particular D. Now this length is root of 3.5. So just you make the number line starting from B itself. So just make it as 0. Just you take our number line like this starting from here, and since this is square root of 3.5, just place your compass needle here and the pencil tip here and just drop a line arc like this. So just finish it such that it touches the number line. So this will be square root of 3.5. So if we start from 0 here, so this length will give you square root of 3.5. So exactly this is where your number line, on the number line this square root of 3.5 is going to lie. So let me repeat. Suppose if you take any number under root, like let us say x, any number which has root, we need to represent on the number line. What you will do at the first part, you take the x alone. That means if it is 2.2, take the 2.2 only. If it is 3.5, take the 2.5 only, and just you draw a line of length that much unit. Suppose if it is x, I have drawn x units like this, and immediately after that attach 1 centimeter. So first you draw those many centimeters what has been under the root, and for that you attach 1 centimeter. Now this is x plus 1 centimeter in all. Now we have to find the midpoint of this x plus 1. If it is a simple number, if we can find it on the scale, it's okay. But if it is not on the scale, so if you are not able to find the midpoint using the scale, what we have to do, we use the perpendicular bisection method. You take this entire x plus 1 into consideration, just you draw arcs like this and find the midpoint. So you will be finding the midpoint at this particular O. Now just take this as O as the center and A as the O as the radius. Complete the semicircle. Now from this point B, drop a perpendicular such that it will touch the semicircle at D. Now this BD will always give you root x, whatever is required for us. Now after that what we have to do, we have to restart our number line from B. So it will be like this, and taking this BD as the radius and B as the center, just we have to extend it to the number line, and from B to the point where this particular curve touches this number line will exactly give you the required number that has been asked. So let us see one more example for clear understanding. Suppose we need square root of 7.1 on the number line. Okay, so what we will do, so just whatever it is under root, just you take that length which is our 7 point. Let us say this is A and this is B and this length is 7.1. This is the first step. The second step, attach 1 centimeter for this one. So from here to here, so let us take this is 1 unit. So in centimeters only we consider it 7.1. So let us say this is our C. So this is the second step. Now after that we have to take the midpoint of it. So the total length is 7.1 plus 1. It will be 8.1. Can you find exactly the midpoint of this one using scale? No. For that use your compass. So take more than half of this entire length. So draw an arc like this on both sides of this one and just intersect it like this, and just when you draw line like this, it will exactly your midpoint. Okay, now using this let us say this is O, center O, just you finish a complete semicircle till this end. So this is the semicircle. So this is the fourth step that we have to make. Now after that, from this point B, drop a perpendicular at 90 degrees such that this perpendicular touches this semicircle, and let us say this is some x. This bx will give you the square root of 7.1. Now what we have to do, just consider this as 0 and just start the number line like this, and bx as the radius, just drop this to the number line. So this is our number line. So this bx, which is our square root of 7.1, will be exactly, this is, if you assume it to be 0, this length also will be square root of 7.1. So this is how actually we can do the representation of any irrational number under root on the number line. So the same technique, just we can use it for the previous numbers also, such as root 5 we have seen earlier. So why can't we use the same method to represent this particular root 5? Yes, we can use. So how exactly we can do with this particular general method? So instead of searching for the combination, just we can use the general method to represent this particular number. So what you will do, so just you take 5 units here and attach 1. So let us say this is A, this is B, this is B, and this is 5 units, and extra I am using 1 unit here. So this is, let us say this is C. Now after that, this is 6 units exactly. I can locate the midpoint in the scale, it will be here. So this is 3 units is the midpoint. Complete the circle like this, semicircle. So complete our semicircle like this. Now the next step, you will take this particular B and you will drop the perpendicular to the semicircle. So this will be exactly 90 degrees. Let us say this is D. Okay, this is D, which is going to be your root 5. So now start afresh from this B as the number line, and this BD will be root 5 units. So just root 5 units. Now take the compass needle here at B and pencil at D, just project it towards the number line that it intersects number line at this particular point. So whatever the method that we are discussing now is going to be a general one. We can apply it for any number. So in case if you are finding difficulty in searching for the combination, just we can use this particular method to represent any irrational number on the number line. Hope you have learned how to represent these particular numbers on the number line. So we shall meet in the next session. Till then, keep revising the things. Have a great day. Thank you all.